Sound Design 4.3, a synth snare. For this sound, I'm using Logic's ES2 again. And here's the sound that I put together. It's not bad. I mean, again, it's not going to convince anybody that it's a real snare, but it's a decent synth snare kind of quality to it. And what are the sounds that I'm using to put this together? Well, I've got oscillators 2 and 3 doing the job here. It doesn't matter which ones you picked. I really only need 2 oscillators going at once. And I've got one of the oscillators set to a triangle wave. Either a triangle or a sine will do the job. If I go down to sine and triangle, it's a little bit more color with the triangle than the sine, but both of them work. You can decide which one you like better. Then I've got a noise generator happening down here on oscillator 3. And then this is my balance control. So if I'm too far this way, I get too much of that pitch, too much this end. We get the kind of snare rattles, but we don't really hear the sound of the drum itself. So the triangle wave is simulating the resonance of the drum, while the noise is simulating the snares that are rattling on the bottom of the drum. Now this may vary depending on the track that you're putting together ultimately, but somewhere in here I think is going to be about right. Then what I'm doing over here is I have a filter set up to, first off, a low-pass filter on this side. So again, kind of to taste at what you're looking for there. I've got it blended ever so slightly with a high-pass filter on this side, just to get rid of a little bit of bottom, but frankly, it's not really doing a whole lot. Let me show you what I'm doing in the modulation matrix, though, because this might be of interest, and it's kind of taking this another step further. Notice here on envelope 1, I've got it pointed to pitch 2, so the oscillator of this pitch, the pitch of this oscillator here is being affected by envelope 1. Why is that? Well, often when you hit a drum, especially when you hit it hard, it sounds like the pitch drops ever so slightly, almost like a Doppler type effect. You hit it and it drops. So what I did was I took this envelope here, envelope 1, fast attack, basically no attack, and then a delay of about 240 milliseconds that's feeding that pitch change. So if I were to do this longer, now, of course, the extension is preventing us from hearing it, so let's make the decay of the drum a little bit unnaturally long. Or if I make this too large. Right. But if I get this in a decent range, probably around 200 milliseconds or so, and then kind of set this pitch to what I think a natural snare drum would be doing. It sounds kind of like a small piccolo snare right now. Now without that, if I bypass it, it works, but it's a little more interesting to me to have that decay there. So once you unlock the modulation matrix, a lot of instruments have this, and it may be something that you haven't dug into. But dig into it a little bit. It's once you get the gist of it, it doesn't tend to be that complicated to find your way around. So in this case, once again, we have the source, which is envelope 1 here, going through nothing at the moment, so the via function is off. Again, that could be something like your modulation wheel or aftertouch, etc. And this is going to my target, which on this instrument there's a whole bunch of different target options. We're at the pitch of oscillator 2. So by setting this and setting the amount and then shaping the envelope, we can get that little bit of a pitch decay happening there. So play with your instrument and see what you can come up with, but really all you need to put together a synth snare quality is a sine or a triangle wave mixed with a noise generator play with the cutoff frequency, probably not much resonance, and then a really fast attack, a little bit of a decay, no sustains. Important that the sustain is all the way down. Otherwise, if you hold down the key, you're going to hear a sustaining drum, which is not acoustically possible. And you're going to come up with something that sounds pretty convincing, at least for an electronic track. So have some fun.